Welcome, everyone, to this week's Live with Lauren. We're going to be talking about compliance and going through some answering your questions and getting into some of the topics that we've come up over the week that just kind of stick out to us, and giving you some more general knowledge about what you need to be doing from a compliance standpoint. Now, so you know, we're both coming to you both live from Facebook and YouTube, so make sure you've liked our Facebook page, and go to Trucking MBA on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so you get notified when we go live every week. So why don't we jump right into it and bring Lauren into it. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
So I got to tell you, everyone, is I'm the techno geek guy, right? So I've got the new cameras and the new mic, all the stuff, because Lauren said, hey, you know what, I like doing this, so she wants to keep doing it. So we got the stuff so we can up our game a little bit. Well, lo and behold, the Postal Service delivered one package, and then we got a notice that the other package that had most everything in it, they didn't have access. Interesting how they could have access to one, to deliver one package, but they can't get access for the other ones. But in that, I gave Lauren my cheap headset I use on my phone. And I use cheap headsets because Satan, as I like to call him, if I can, that'll pop up here. Let's do this real quick. There he is. Satan, as I like to call him, is jumped up on Lauren's desk and started chewing up the headset that she's wearing right now. Fortunately, we caught him. I cannot tell you how many headsets Satan has chewed up of mine. That's why we go with cheap headsets on the desk side of things. So technology actually seems to be working pretty good, knocking on wood here. And let's kind of get started. Actually, Lauren's got a little bit of a rant because we're talking about companies that try to fear-based marketing. I know you got a couple emails and letters and that kind of set you off this week.
Kind of just a little bit, yeah. I don't know what they call it, predatory marketing, fear-based marketing, but I have just seriously this predatory fear-based marketing tactics that our competition puts out there. And for those of you who have been in the business, we know you've experienced it. For those of you who are getting into the business, prepare yourself. Because there are companies out there that do exactly what they do, but exactly what we do, sorry about that. But what they like to do is send you really, really super scary letters and emails that sound like they're coming from the federal government or the state agencies and threaten you with big fines if you don't pay them, $200 to do your damn UCR, excuse my language, or take care of your VOC3, or in one case I saw this week, they wanted you to send them everything that you'd send for an audit, your CDL, your med card, all that personal information. So here's my thing. I ranted on Facebook groups this week, and I'm going to rant right now. If you get a letter and you think it's official, please run it by somebody like us. We are not going to charge you to take a look at it, and we'll tell you the truth. Is this fear-based predatory marketing, or is this something you really should be concerned about? But in general, I can tell you this. The FMCSA, your state agencies, anybody who wants real information from you is not going to charge you $200, $250, $300 to do it, get it, or take care of it for you. So please shut these people down and learn to use that delete button. Bill, I know you had an instance with the UCR. You want to go through that one?
Yeah, we're going to keep it quick so we don't get too far into this. But $199 to do someone's 2019 UCR. It literally takes about 5 minutes. And then, of course, when 2020 gets announced, they are going to auto charge you another $199 and make sure that you've got that taken care of. And I have to make this real quick, Lauren, but you actually got on chat with someone about the MCS Longevity, and tell me what they do, what they told you they would do for you, and what they make sure they have. Because that to me is the most interesting part is what they tell you they're doing.
Yeah, so this company, basically, I got on, I pretended I was a carrier, and I said, gee, you're charging, upwards of, I think it was $200, $250, whatever it was, to update, do my biennial update for my MCS 150. It just doesn't seem that complicated. Why is it so expensive? And this person chatted back to me that, oh no, it was a very complicated procedure and very easy to mess up. And you would end up with all sorts of fines if you didn't do it correctly. Well, let me tell you something, folks. If you can't do an MCS 150, you've got bigger problems than owning a carrier. And it's not that, we have customers that don't want to do their own stuff. They don't want to do their UCRs, their BOC3s, their MCS 150s, whatever. Here's the point. We have based our company on education first and services second. And this person who was on chat in no way said, hey, you know what? No, it's not difficult. You can do it. Let me teach you how. I don't mind, charging people if they don't want to take the time, don't have the energy, don't have the skills to do it. That's fine. But I'm damn well not going to charge you $200 to do an MCS 150. And in fact, I'm first going to say, do you want me to walk you through it? So just understand, education first, services second. Those are the companies you should be looking for, whether it's us or another company out there. My opinion,
Absolutely.
My rant. Thank you.
Right. ADCO, yes, it's going to be available afterwards as far as on our YouTube channel and on the Facebook group. So yes, you can share it, and we would love it if you would share it. Thank you very much.
We'll also be happy to talk with your team if you'd like. We can do a live session with your team.
Absolutely.
Hi, Mike. I'm sure what you're
Let's
doing.
jump into. We're talking about equipment files. And equipment files we could actually break it into multiple weekly sessions going over equipment file. But the one thing that jumped out at me today is you there, Lauren?
Yeah, I am. I'm just reading one of the comments. I am hearing you.
Okay. So one of the things that jumped out at me actually this week was drivers not really understanding, owner-operators not understanding what to do when they have a roadside inspection and they've got a violation on it. Okay. So why don't you walk us through that, what they need to do?
So besides being polite with the officer that walks up to the truck, that would be step number 1. Here's step number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's say you get a violation on a roadside inspection. The officer's going to hand you a document that's going to show the violation on it. Here's what you need to do, and this is critically important that you take all these steps. Please write them down. You're going to you're either going to be put out of service and they're going to have a repair truck out to you, or you're going to be let go to make the repair down the road. In either instance, but most particularly if you are let go to go down the road, you need to keep documentation of some kind that the repair was made. So let's say that it was a windshield wiper that went out, and you're allowed to go down the road to repair it. You buy the windshield wiper, you put the windshield wiper on yourself if you are so inclined to do so. Then you need to keep that receipt and note that you did the repair yourself. In fact, you're going to sign off on that violation form that you did the repair yourself. Now, there is one other critical thing that tends to be forgotten. That's the DVIR. So a while back, and I can't personally tell you when, I learned this in an audit, you all were allowed to not have to fill out your daily vehicle inspection reports at the end of every day. The problem with allowing drivers not to have to fill that out is they forget about them altogether. If you are in an audit situation, an auditor will pull inspection reports, and they will ask to see the receipts or the proof of repairs. And finally, they are going to ask to see your DVIR for that day, which you should have printed out at the end of the day, married with the receipt, married with the violation, sent everything off to your carrier, who has to add a whole nother signature to the thing, to the violation report. And then the carrier has to read further to see if they have to reply to the state with a signed off proof that everything was taken care of. So again, the DVIRs are important, the proof of repair is important, and then making sure that you're kind of reading those documents along the way. They will get called out in an audit. Now, for you carriers, how do you know that your driver, if you have multiple trucks, how do you know that your driver had a roadside inspection if they don't turn that report into you? Well, there's a handy dandy little website. It's called the SMS or CSA website. You should be checking that once a month, because I'll tell you what, I have talked to a lot of carriers who, I had one just recently, was up for insurance renewal. And he called me and said, Lauren, I was told I had an accident in December. I've never had an accident. And so the first thing I did was pull up his SMS scores. I said, yes, Steve, there's an accident reported in whatever state it was in. Turns out one of his drivers that he had let go back in October kept all his paperwork and his DOT number on the side of the truck and got in an accident. And it was reported against his SMS scores, his CSA scores. So, Bill was kind enough to start data queuing that for him. But that's how you track this stuff. Okay, so this stuff is important. We're going to go into equipment files in a whole nother session. Anything you want to add there, Bill?
No, just a point of clarification is if there's any violation whatsoever, the carrier's always going to have to sign it and send it back to the state. I think just
not always. Some states have gone away from that.
Okay.
Yep.
Question here. We're going to wrap this up here. So,
hey, Preacher.
I'm working on getting my authority. Why is the process for all the things you need to do to be compliant all over the place instead of going to 10 different websites and agencies?
Can I answer that? Can I take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's your government at work. It's all over the place because you're doing things at different levels with different agencies. So you're working with the feds, you're working with the states, you're working with insurance. I mean, it is all over the place because it is designated, managed, whatever, by different agencies. So unfortunately, it is what it is. What can be very helpful is just having a checklist, which if you need one, we can get one to you.
And you're welcome. And in full disclosure, Preacher, we're one of those companies that charges. One of the things that we do differently, or that we saw, and kind of the reason we got into doing this was we saw a lot of companies, when you're getting started here, it's probably not hard to believe how many people don't know everything that needs to be done. And if you don't know the questions to ask, then you're not going to ask that question. And so when we started doing audits and we started working with people before we ever helped people set up their authorities, we were seeing people who just didn't do some of the basic things. Drug testing, didn't have drug testing concerns, didn't have driver files. There's lots of things that they didn't put in place because they didn't know, or they go through and they get set up and then they get taken advantage of with a $300 driver file package. And it's literally a PDF. It's not even filling it out for you, checking it for you. It's, hey, fill all this stuff out and some instructions on it. So, yeah, some of the people are just, hey, we're just going to, take $200 for the 15 minutes of work for filing the DOT. Now, at one level, having someone check it for you is a good sign because we do, I would say, Lauren can vouch this, 7 to 10 MC DOT fixes a week. I mean,
fixing, yes. Fixing, yes.
Yeah, so 30% of MCs are filed incorrectly.
I pride myself on being a fixer, by the way.
So, I think the key is if you're going to work with somebody, you don't have time to do all the paperwork and go to 30 different websites, is making sure you're doing someone that I call cradle to grave, going from filing your authority, making sure it's done right, the BOC3 UCR, making sure the driver files completed, drug testing's done, drug consortium, everything that goes on as far as the complete package in there. Even if it's okay, we're going to set you up and then here's some things and we're going to help you through it if you want to do it yourself. But I think that's key if you want to work with somebody else. And Lauren's just jonesing to jump in here.
Well, I don't want to make this too long, but I do know from experience that each state that you work with has their own idiosyncrasies. So when you're dealing with IRP, when you're dealing with IFTA, do you mail it in? Can you do it online? Can you email it? Does it have to be hand delivered? Which we've seen in Connecticut, Connecticut has to be hand delivered, the paperwork. So, Preacher, I think part of that frustration may come from the fact that, again, if you don't know the questions to ask and you're not really clear on where to look within your own state, it can be a really frustrating process, trust me. That's the only point I was thinking, Bill. I think you left me. Bill?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind being here. I can talk all night.
One of the wonderful things of
and Preacher, we'll get you a checklist. I'll get you a checklist.
One of the wonderful things of the UPS not being able to find our building, or United States Postal Service find our building, is the mics with the stands on it didn't show up. So I'm holding my mic in my hand, and so I muted it out when I sent it down to respond
Oh,
to
stop your whining.
I know it's depressing. I don't know how I'll get through the night.
Yes.
So any other questions as we get ready to wrap it up here? I always say we want to keep this 10, 15 minutes, and here we are at the 15-minute mark. So any other questions out there?
Any topics people would like to see us hit for next week? I mean, I have some ideas, but what kind of topics would you like to see for next week?
Oh, we lost her.
My Bixby just took over my phone.
Yeah, we're going to learn to turn. So one of the cool things is we hadn't bought phones in a couple of years, and we had what was it? We had Costco had a great deal on new phones for Black Friday, and so we got ourselves some new phones. And Lauren's camera is through her phone instead of a webcam, and it's the equivalent of a $200 webcam that we paid $6.95 for the software. But as you can see, we're having little software glitches there, so we'll have to see what we need to do to turn everything off so we don't get it taken over. So as Lauren said, email us or send us messages on topics you want us to cover. We are going to be talking a little bit more about the clearinghouse next week and start having more trainings, starting trainings over now that the clearinghouse is opened up again. Just to reiterate, if you do not have to hire a driver and it's just yourself, you don't necessarily have to be registered with clearinghouse right away. I would still hold off while they're trying to get some things going on that. So just be clear. We're going to go talk about that, and then we're also going to be scheduling some 15-minute sessions with carriers to help them get set up on the clearinghouse, and we'll be sending those messages out this week. So thank you all, everyone, for joining us. And on the looks like we may have we get Lauren back in the room. Coming in on that. There we go. We got Lauren back with us.
And you're welcome. We're enjoying this.
So let's how much time am I get my own authority? Let's jump some of these up here. So we want to answer questions here. So you're welcome. Lauren doesn't want you to see her right now. My question is, how much time and money will it cost to get my own authority, open a trucking company? By the way, currently I'm an owner-operator under a big owner-operator company. That's kind of a loaded question there because there's so many different factors. What your insurance is going to cost, and that can be based on states and what you're looking to do. I try not to get into, when I talk to people as far as getting their authority set up, get into how much money you need to put down, because I've seen guys with $30,000 in the bank go bankrupt. I've seen guys that started out and they couldn't, they didn't have money to repair a tire if they had a blowout the first day, and then they were successful. So I try not to get onto that side, but emails there, we can kind of, based on the state you live in, there's lots of different factors, because plates, if you already have plates or you don't, plates will cost different. So there's a lot of different factors that come into it. Texas and California are significantly more expensive because of some of the additional things you need to do there. So we can walk you through that. I'll tell you, if you just do everything on your own, for getting compliant drug testing, all that stuff, you budget $600-700 just on your own. I think so.
That doesn't. What about plates?
No, not plates. Just doing the authority. Just going from
authority. So
authority through drug testing and UCR, BOC.
Yeah, sub 1,000.
Yeah, so it's going to be 500, 600, 700. You can shop around and get it for under 700. So on that.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, what you can do is I put my email address up there. I'll go ahead and
they don't want to talk to you, Bill. They want to talk to me.
I know that. I was going to put your email address up, and see if I spelled everything correctly there. So there you go, Alejandro, where you can call and talk to Lauren.
That's my email, phone number.
Yeah. She spends more time, hard to reach her on the phone because she spends more time chatting with the competition so that she can go on Facebook and rant about it.
Not true.
And that's our office phone number that we just posted up there, Alejandro. So you live in Florida, you already have your plates. Yeah, you're looking at without having the plates, like we were saying, anywhere from the 550 to 700 for just doing everything from getting your authority and doing all the the driver files. Some things you can, everything with the exception of going out and taking a drug test, you can do on your own. Okay, you got to have a drug test. There's no way around that. But I mean, we even give out a paper-based version of the driver file for everybody at no cost. So if you really scrimp and scrape 550, 600, you can get by with everything you need to do. We typically see people getting closer to 700. And then insurance, Florida is going to be a little more expensive on the insurance. The insurance companies we work with are pretty large, have a lot of programs out of Florida, and depending on where you're at, we're looking at 10 to 15% down on I'd say, well, the physical damage is the big X factor. How much are you insuring a tractor for? So let's say $15,000 to $18,000. So and say 15% down to be on the safe side of that. We'll kind of give you an idea of that side. But if you already have your plates, that's taken care of for you. So that's kind of a ballpark just getting in. Now, it doesn't give you any operating costs or money for that going forward. And you are welcome. And let's see if we have. Let's see here. What is
everything?
Yeah, preacher. Yeah, we pretty much are. Lauren's a licensed insurance agent, and we did that because it allows us. We don't take money from insurance companies, but it allows her to have conversations and work around the insurance, or we thought. But we've just gotten so comfortable with some large insurance companies that we just kind of pass that off. But yeah, we do. We set up the if you want us to, we'll set up the IRP if the. So everything from
even down to the company and the EIN.
LLC and things like that. And whether or not there's some. Lauren did a great video, and there's going to be some more videos, and we're going to start stepping it out and make them a little shorter as far as setting up your company on things you need to do. And maybe this is a great topic for next week, but the mistakes that people make as they go through setting up their company, and we're working with one right now who went in, never filed for his LLC in the state, filed for the authority, now can't get insurance or anything because he doesn't have the LLC. So let's go get the LLC. Lo and behold, the name is already taken. So now we got to find a name, get the LLC set up, and then go do a name change on the authority and get that set up. So there's some things do have to come in a proper order. And having the structure of the business is the first step. So Lauren does has a pretty good, it's a rather lengthy video on that. Like I said, we'll probably start breaking this up and do a separate videos under the Trucking MBA on that. So thank you for that, preacher. Let's see, turn it off. And unless there's any other questions, we're starting to hit that 25-minute mark. Thank you all for joining us here. We actually do have a good time. We may fight and scrap as we get coming into this, trying to get things set up. And Devil Dog normally we'll stick him in the car during this because he just something about 7 o'clock at night, but he's here sleeping next to me right now. So who knows? But thank you again. Every week, 7 p.m. Eastern on Velocity Group's Facebook page or on YouTube, the Trucking MBA. Make sure you like the pages, subscribe to our channel, smash the like button on the video, And we look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions next week. Thank y'all.
Thanks for joining us.